Hi, YouTube fans and friends. This is Jennifer with Victorious Christians Living. I haven't been here for a little while, but I was reading in 1 Corinthians today. I love Paul. Sometimes he writes a little bit kind of like my husband speaks. But if you really get in and look at what he's saying, you can figure it out. And I'm reading in chapter 8, which is talking about food offered to idols, but applies to so many things. So the beginning just cracks me up. Now, concerning food offered to idols, we know that all of us possess knowledge. This knowledge puffs up. Isn't that the truth with so many people and with ourselves? We think we know something, and so la-di-da, we have knowledge. But love builds up, and there's a difference between puffing up and building up. If anyone imagines that he knows something, yeah. If anyone imagines that he knows something, he does not yet know as he ought to know. You know, I heard a man speak one time about knowledge, and sometimes we think knowledge and wisdom are the same thing, but they're really not. Knowledge is the information that we have about the subject or whatever, and we all have knowledge, obviously, we all have knowledge. But wisdom tells us how to use that knowledge. And so we can't just have knowledge. We need to have wisdom too on how to act. And this kind of goes on about people eating food for idols and how it's okay. But if you are eating food that was offered to idols and someone whose faith is weak decides, hey, if he can, I can, then they may feel guilty later, and for them it could destroy them. And I was thinking about this with other things. I know that there are a lot of Christians out there that don't believe that anyone should be gambling. But I also know a lot of Christians out there that believe that gambling is just fine. It's, you set a limit, you play a few games, you go home. It's just a game. And it's no big deal. And, people say, well, they cast lots for Jesus' clothing, and that, that was a terrible, terrible thing. But they also cast lots to pick the replacement for Judas as a disciple. So that was just the way they did things then. It's like drunkenness and drinking. The sin is drunkenness, not drinking. And the sin of any type of thing like that is addiction. And, for you, it might be okay. Maybe it's not an addiction, you could care one way or another. But for someone looking at you that may be weaker than you, or for maybe someone who it is a kind of an addiction, then you shouldn't be doing it because you're causing them to stumble. And Paul gave up all his rights. He goes on in chapter 9 to talk about how the other apostles take their wives with them, but he doesn't. The other apostles get paid by things, but Paul makes tents and he makes his own money, and he's given up all of his rights so that no one will be offended by him or what he may or may not do. And he says, therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never eat meat, lest I make my brother stumble. And I think that applies to so many parts of our lives. For us, it might be okay. But for someone else, it might not be okay. I'm not telling you to go sneak around and do these things, because someone's going to see you, whether they're a Christian or not. And you're not planting a very good seed if you're out there among non-Christians and doing things that they think are unchristian. So, Paul had the best solution. The best solution is not to do it. Well, it doesn't kill us not to do those things. If if they bother the people around us. You know, if it saves one soul, if it stops someone from falling away, I can certainly give up my rights. But in this world we live in today, the rights of the individual are everything. It's not true. My mom used to say that my rights ended at the tip of the next person's nose. I never really got it, but I think just what she was saying was pretty much what Paul is saying. What we do affects the people around us. And as Christians, we are trying to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, the love of God. We're not trying to just say, hey, I can do it, so I'm going to do it. Besides that, that's arrogant, and that's no good either. We don't want any self-righteousness to creep in, and we don't want to be one of these whose knowledge puffs us up. So that's my word for today. I have no idea what I'm going to title this. I hope you will subscribe, press like, send me a comment, and I'm going to try to get more regular in my talks again. Been through a couple things this year, but I'm back now. Love you all. God bless.